And we are back, folks. So, and apparently we're on another hype train. So before we get started, Ollie, if you wouldn't mind, please.
The thing.
Oh, I'm never going to get tired of that. So, when we last left our heroes, the first morning at the Vander Palace was quite an unusual one for the party. After being invited to their first magic auction, the party was gifted a very lucrative sum of platinum from Lady Vander to allow them to participate in said auction. And with their small fortunes in hand, our heroes set forth to Boku's annual magic auction. It was there they noted a strange individual that seemed to be very fashionable in the dark arts. Strange necrotic talisman and sigils adorned her attire. The party agreed it was best to keep an eye on her, to potentially ask about these strange paintings that were found at the gallery the night prior. But alas, the auction was about to commence. During the auction, the party engaged in vicious battles of bidding, fighting for the prize that lay in front of them. And while Trip Chattington did their very best to stave off the mighty bidding wars, all of our mighty heroes prevailed, save for Ollie, who now unfortunately had to find something else to do with the giant bulge of platinum in his pocket. As the auction came to a close, our heroes were thrilled with their new winnings. Alara even seeking out the elven man she outbid. She learned his name was Gustav, and was a professor of the Shellborn Institute. He warned Alara that the magic in her new tome had ought to be taken lightly, and agreed to be Alara's confidant, if ever need be. However, it was Pavo who was the most excited about his winnings, so much so that he almost let the deathly fashionable figure almost slip from their grasp. As our heroes rushed out the door to confront the woman, they were instead met by a very worried Betsa. Fraught with fear, Betsa informed the party that word had been received that Senator Vander and his entourage, including Maxon, had been taken captive on the road. The choice was made by the group that they leave the strange necro woman for now to assist in the rescue of Lucy's father. Entering the mystical carriage once more, they raced off to the location provided by the guard that was able to escape. And as they approached, found a grave scene. A platoon of undead skeletons blocked their path to the now identified Senator Vander and Maxon. However, prior to engaging, the party overheard the morbid bandit leader exclaim that they were in pursuit of Maxon and not Senator Vander at all. However, being surrounded by such unholy creatures, Ollie could take it no more and leapt into battle. And while our heroes were easily able to fend off the skeletons, the ringleader summoned a portal to a fiery place where new and deadlier enemies arrived from. With blood in their eyes and fire in their bellies, the mighty wards of Defiance raged onward into battle, properly vanquishing their foes. However, it seemed to have come at a cost. The portal opened by the ringleader was only able to be closed from the other side. And as the party argued, Quill was drawn more and more to the portal. And as at the mere sight and thought of Lucy losing anything from the family he'd built, Quill made the ultimate sacrifice and stepped through the portal towards the hulking pit fiend that way on the other side. It was on this day that the wards of Defiance learned what a true hero was. And so, our story continues. Lucy. As the glow of the portal's edges fade from view, your eyes begin to well up. The weight of having watched your oldest friend sacrifice himself for you and your companions bears down on your shoulders. The world itself could not feel heavier. You try to stay standing, but your legs give way. The rest of you watch as Lucy falls to his knees. As he weeps, even the otherwise fortified heart of Shade feels the agony of a man who has just lost his brother in arms. But before any of you can act, Maxon is already beside Lucy. Lucy, you feel the warm hands of Maxon and smell the familiar and comforting scent you have grown to know from him. He whispers in your ear as he grips tightly around your shoulders. It's all right, my boy. I've got you. Pain of loss is deeper than any wound. I'm so very sorry for you, my boy. He was a great man, and we will make sure that his tale is sung throughout all of Boku. But it's far too dangerous to linger here for long. Take my strength, and let us stand together.
Lucille shakily, get up while muttering under his breath. It should have been me.
What Quill did was an act of heroism and valor that some would say is too good for this world. I know you are feeling hurt and lost right now, my dear boy, but let this also be a lesson to you of the things that should be done rather than the things you want to be done. He softly pulls you to your feet and turns you around to face him. There you are. He raises your chin to meet his eyes. Like I always say, chin up and one foot in front of the other, as he kind of gives you a sympathetic smile. As he does this, his eyes begin to trail down to look you over for wounds. He stops at your chest, now seeing the robe partially opened from the battle. And that's when his eyes lock onto the branded sigil on your chest before darting back to meet your gaze. His eyes now wide as a look of panicked intensity completely washes over his face. Lucy, you must listen clearly and answer truthfully. This is of dire importance. When did you receive this mark?
I don't know. I believe when I touched a certain weapon belonging to our party, and I'll look over to Pavo, who has the spear.
I understand then. It is imperative, Lucy, that we speak to... His voice is suddenly cut short as another cuts through the air like a sharp dagger. Well now, that was enough excitement for one day. You all look over to see the senator now standing and brushing some debris off of his robes. I, for one, will be thankful to be home and in a warm bath. He walks over to Shades with a hollow smile on his face. Well done, Shade. Not only have you and your underlings found Lucille, but also made the time to rescue me. Perhaps I should hire you as my full-time guard. Clearly, the last were incompetent, as he kind of looks over and gestures at the bodies strewn about on the ground. You are worth every piece of platinum owed to you, my friend. However, if I could give one piece of advice, perhaps it best not to bring companions like Lucille with you. As you can see, he's a bit, fragile when it comes to these types of circumstances.
He's been okay. He's been okay. He's grown a bit, I guess.
Anybody else object to being referred to as Shade's underling?
Ollie just gets down to one knee and says, Lord Vander, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Lord Vander looks down to Ollie, ignoring, completely disregarding the rest of the party. Well, glad to see that someone here has been raised properly.
Thank you. My name is Ollie Sprocket, and yeah, I am part of this team that your boy Lucy actually helped guide to your safety.
Lucille.
Ollie.
His name is Lucille.
Ollie, don't waste your breath.
Oh, I don't breathe.
Without any further words, Senator turns his back to all of you and addresses Maxon. Maxon, What are you waiting for? Collect your things and activate the transportation sigil. I assumed you would have done so already on your own volition. However, if today's events tell me anything, you're incapable of doing things on your own accord. He swipes a little wet sweat from his brow and flicks it off to the side. I've seen more than enough of this jungle today. Thank you very much. Maxon now looks back at the senator. Of course, Senator. It is not wise to stay in untamed wilds with blood in the air. I will prepare the sigil to take us home post-haste. Maxon then turns back to Lucy and in a quieter tone, we have much to discuss later. Leaving Lucy's side... Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, how you and Mother gravitated towards a cockroach like him will forever be a mystery to me.
Sadly, Lucy, we don't get to choose our family.
You're right about that, and I'll look at the rest of the group with more of a smile than it's been shown for the last bit.
Leaving Lucy's side, you all watch as Maxon makes his way over to the overturned coach and begins to rifle through the debris. Again, Senator Vander, not standing more than 20 feet away from him, yells back, "Hurry up, Maxon, we've already lost most of the day."
Well, aren't you a treat?
He mustn't have noticed that Quill just sacrificed his life for him, right? He mustn't have seen that.
Well, I'm sure he saw.
Yeah, he saw.
Maybe we just need to warm up to him a bit. We didn't really accept Lucy that quickly. It took a while for him to be accepted by everyone. Not me, of course. Like I knew he was a good guy, and you know, we should give Lord Vander a chance.
I'll just look at Ollie with just a no. Should trust me on this one. There's no soul there.
No soul?
What happened to it?
It's a manner of speech, Ollie. We really have to get you some classes.
All right, well, now what? We've freed him. Are we going back now?
Business as usual.
Okay.
Just at least make it way back to talk to your mother then. Before he gets there, if we can.
Can we
Yeah.
go with him?
DM, was
No
it
problem.
insinuated that we were going in a teleportation circle with them, or?
Based on the history that's been taught to you, this is just a formal way of kind of an emergency exit plan, if you will. So you're welcome to go with them, or you're welcome to take the coach back.
We
Should
can't
ride
just leave
back
the
on our
coach
own.
here.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want to leave the coach behind, do we?
Maxton, I'll meet you at the palace.
Yes, well, of course, if you think that best.
Nice to meet you, Maxon. Sorry.
He
He's
looks
not
over
on the magazine.
Chat, also, if you could roll me a D100, please. As all of this happens, Maxon looks over to Alara. I see. I didn't recognize you at first. It is an absolute pleasure to meet you, Professor.
What? This is so lovely. I mean, I would normally just take that at face value, but I haven't taught anything ever. Other than love and friendship. I teach that on a daily basis.
Yes, well, this is very peculiar. You do look much younger. Never in all my time have I ever met a future Echo in the flesh.
Okay. Okay.
Whoa.
Okay, what does that mean?
Well, you see, he continues to talk to you, but again, the senator cuts him short. Maxon, can we please move this along?
I mean,
Very
this
sorry,
sounds
my
kind of
dear.
important. Okay.
Surprisingly enough, well, I've listened to you many times before. It's interesting that you must wait to hear from me this time. I beg your pardon, madam.
I'll curtsy.
Damn right you would.
It's about time. Damn.
Okay, so you guys are taking the carriage back and not going in the teleportation circle? Or sigil?
Taking the carriage back.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was
Fix his notes. Oh no. Just kidding.
I know.
As you watch Maxon begin to draw out a sigil on a little bit of a clearing in the pathway, he recites a few arcane words before the ruins that he had just finished drawing begin to glow, one by one. It doesn't take long for the circle to now be fully encompassed within a soft glow. And without any hesitation or any good heart, Senator Vander simply walks into the teleportation sigil, disappearing from view. Maxon looks back to you, Lucy. I'm glad you're back. You have been missed.
Thank you, Maxon.
He then vanishes as well. A few moments later, the sigil's now stopping the emanating the glow, and you're all left on the trail.
Wow, your dad's a piece of work.
Do you think I've been making this up?
It seemed all right to me.
Exaggerating, maybe?
I mean, Ollie Quill sacrificed himself, and he didn't even say thank you. What if
Yeah,
you
it's a bit odd.
What if you went in the portal and he acted like that? That's sort of disrespectful.
Well, I guess I wouldn't know.
Well, if he were in the portal, he wouldn't know. You're right. You're right, but the rest of us would know.
Ollie, your ability to see the best in people is admirable, but I assure you, you will find nothing in that man.
Well,
Well-
he did send shade after you.
Which confuses me greatly, and I'm sure he had his own reasons for that.
Okay, so I don't want to misconstrue any words or sayings or anything, but is being called an echo a common thing?
Oh yeah, that's crazy. I'm super pumped that he thinks that I'm a teacher or a professor. That's cool. I don't know what he's talking about.
Seems to know you.
Yeah, I don't know him though.
Traveling back in time, maybe. Somehow.
Who?
Maybe Maxon is.
Yeah,
Or
wait, how does that work?
Forward in time.
Because if you're a future...
Or you are.
Oh,
Wait,
well,
Yeah.
those
Me?
Or you are, yeah.
Yeah.
those figures that walk
Future you.
around
Yeah, you
in
are.
town, what do they refer to
Uh-huh.
as?
Echoes.
So he's referring to you as one of those ghostly figures that walk around town.
I'm gonna push
Well-
her to make sure that she's fully.
Tricks. I'm real. I've been here the whole time.
Hey,
Also, just a reminder that the echoes aren't necessarily ghosts. They are just moments in time. It does not
Yeah.
mean that they are dead. It's just
Obviously,
memory.
I'm right here.
But he knows you from another point in time. He said you looked younger.
Yeah.
Well, how
So,
old
I
is Max?
suppose we'll find out what exactly he meant by that, but we should go.
Do you aspire to be a professor?
Not maybe. I don't know. I I just want to learn everything, and I kind of just want to control time eventually. I haven't really thought about teaching people, but I guess once you master the power of the universe, what do you do other than teach people it, right?
Wait, and then
Shade, while after Alara finishes speaking, you begin to feel a tingling in your arm. You suddenly get this
Here we go.
overwhelming urge to give everyone a big hug.
Oh,
Okay.
let's go.
So who's the closest to me?
Let's
Or
say
the
Ollie.
only group? Ollie. So I go to Ollie and I give him a big hug.
I'll just be like, "Oh, thank you," and I'll just hug him back. Very out of character for you.
I pat him on the
Thank-
back and go to the next one. But I squeeze as hard as I can, everybody.
What's happening?
Eli's
This is
gonna
great.
Eli will flinch.
I'm
The shade
assuming
walks
this is because
around.
you attacked me and you feel bad.
And I get to that and I just go like, shh.
Hushed hugs. Oh,
He's gonna
The strange
just let you
thing-
do it and then let you walk away. He's horrified.
The strange
Lucy
thing
just
is
walks up.
the awkward and uncharacteristic large smile from ear to ear, full teeth in view, from Shade each time he hugs each one of you.
Guys,
Shade.
what
And
is
then-
happening?
And then I chased after the monkey, trying to grab the monkey.
I'm wondering if he's still possessed by that necromancer we just fought.
I'm gonna cast
Maybe.
detect poison and disease.
Giving me
Well-
some creepy clown vibes.
You don't necessarily see anything in terms of poisons or anything along those lines. You all watch as Shade is now eagerly chasing Spike around the carriage, in desperate need, trying to hug him.
Wow.
This is such an odd day. So many odd things happening. I'm all for this. I think this is great. Shade seems like he's opening up. He's
Clearly
comfortable
rubbed
with us
off
now.
on him.
Yeah, it's weird timing because I feel a little bit sad still about Quill. But I guess why wait to be happy?
I'm a little concerned about Spike's well-being.
Mm,
You hear off in the
Sure.
distance,
Spike, it's okay. It'll be over fast. Just let him do it.
Oh my god.
I'm here, little critter.
That sounds
I
bad.
get you.
I know.
Just relax. It'll be okay.
Oh my
Lucy, I have
god.
one last question about these echoes. Do you necessarily need to be a time traveler to be an echo? Like,
No.
aren't we all gonna be in different moments of time?
no, it's echoes from the past. Anyone's past. It doesn't necessarily mean that they traveled through time, which I didn't know was even a thing until I met Alara, so.
So,
Well,
Alara,
like-
you're a professor in the past?
No, in the
But you're
future. 'cause
older?
He
In the
said she looks.
future.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
That's
then,
why I
so
said
what?
maybe
I'm-
Maxon traveled back in time because like he knew her in the future and then came back.
I don't know, but we're gonna have to ask him. Like,
Or
who's-
there was a professor that looked sort of like you, Alara.
I mean, that would be
I
cool.
understand now.
You understand?
Well, no, I just understand that he couldn't have been talking to an. I was thinking that the older you was the echo, but he thinks that the older you is the real person, that you're the echo.
Mhm.
So this
Oh.
person must still be around right now.
Mhm.
He thinks that I'm an echo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought echoes would be sort of translucent. Wait,
That's why I pushed you.
yeah, trans.
I don't
wanna
think that's
make
what he
sure.
meant.
I'm solid.
We're not gonna get any answers standing around here. Let's go.
Yeah, everyone get in the damn
What?
cart.
Okay.
I stand beside Alara and I create one of my echo and I have my echo slap at Alara.
Oh my god.
What the hell?
I'm like, see? Not translucent.
Shade?
Why would you do that?
Just to
That's
prove
so
a point.
mean.
Get in the fucking cart.
Yep.
Whoa!
What
I'll
the
get
hell?
it.
Dad, I'm
And I'm
getting
gonna-
Dad Vander vibes right there.
I'm
Everybody
gonna
heard Lucy
shove
go.
the echo as I get in the cart.
Yeah.
Lucy's gonna take one more look back to where the portal that Quill entered closed before getting in the cart. And he's gonna mutter something under his breath.
Okay.
I'll
We'll
get on
never know
top
what he
of the
said.
cart.
Okay.
So mysterious.
As you all make your way back to Boku proper, it again is about a 2-hour ride at this point. Making your way there just upon the beginning of dusk setting in. The purples and pinks of the sky easily illuminate over top of the beautiful city of Boku as lights begin to sparkle in and around the town. Making your way to the city gates, the guards, now recognizing Lucy and the carriage, simply wave you through. What would you guys like to do?
Make our way to the palace.
For the 2-hour
Okay.
ride, can we assume that it could be used as a short rest?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. That's
Did I
helpful.
catch Spike?
Oh my gosh.
Was I able to hug Spike?
Uh,
I want to know if I have still.
Tell
I
you
still
what,
need to do it.
make a strength check for me.
Oh my god. Poor Spike.
Yeah, what?
Strength check. 24.
24.
No, sorry. No, that's a saving throw. That's 21.
It's okay. It beats my 6. So yes, you were successfully able to hug Spike. As you did, you kind of ruffled him a little bit, pulling him up off the ground. Eli, as you look into Spike's eyes, you can see that look that all cats give when someone tries to pick them up and hug him. A look of death, a look of absolute carnage.
Oh, I will spend the carriage ride trying to calm him down.
Okay.
Can I spend the carriage ride giving myself a tattoo with my new tattoo gun?
I feel like a carriage
Every
is a
bump.
bad place to give yourself a tattoo.
Hey, I'm really, I got good sleight of hand.
That good?
Skilled.
All right. Well, go ahead and give me a sleight of hand check then.
Oh, I love
Or
it.
performance, right? I mean,
Oh, jeez. 13.
13. While you start to pierce yourself with the needle, you are able to work out the sigil as it kind of guides your hand, almost like a Ouija board, taking control and just really utilizing your hand movement to do the actual work.
Can it be a
As you-
queen of diamonds?
You
Card?
most certainly can.
oh,
As the Queen of Diamonds continues to be etched into your skin, a few of the bumps in the road, you stab yourself a little bit more. You will take 4 points of piercing damage.
Poisoning. Just kidding.
I'm just imagining us all in like a carriage bumping around all the streets. The tattoo machine out. What?
it's not a tattoo machine, man. It's like an arcane thing. It's
Okay. That makes it way more normal. You're totally right.
yeah.
All right. So, making your way back through Boku up to the palace proper, the guard once again ushers you in as you make your way up to the front door. Entering into the palace, you see quite a few servants running around, completing chores and whatnot throughout the course of the night, seemingly getting ready for most likely the night's feast. You don't see your mother, Maxon, or your father.
Is Betsa there?
she is not at this point.
Where's everybody?
I don't know.
Do they normally announce your arrival?
Can I stop one of the servants or whatever the proper word would be for them?
Slaves.
Absolutely.
Jesus.
You stop a middle-aged half-elf man.
Is
Yes, my lord.
Maxon around?
Oh, yes. It's been quite the commotion since your father and Maxon have returned. They've been up in his study for the past few hours, him and your mother and Betsa.
I see. Thank you.
Of course. Is there
Yeah.
anything else, sir?
That will be all.
Right.
And I will start leading everyone to the study that I knew exactly where that is.
We have those rings.
We all do.
It's my house.
We
know
have
where
the
I'm
ring.
going.
We have the ring.
As you make your way to your father's study, you climb a set of stairs leading to a grand entrance. The doors seem closed. You can hear a bit of a commotion behind the doors.
Do I knock? That's the question. No.
Just go in.
I open the doors. Making my way in.
Opening the doors, you see the familiar sight of your father's office, a grand room within the palace itself. Directly on the back wall, a large fireplace has been lit. A giant painting mural of you, your mother, and Senator Vander sits right over top of it. A few leather couches that seem to be seated directly in the center of the room with a nice rug that is displayed underneath. Right in front of the fireplace is the familiar sight of your father's desk, one that you've sat at many times as he's lectured you on the city politics. Most sit on the sofas. However, your father, as usual, sits on the other side of the desk. As soon as you walk in the door, he looks up to you. Ah, yes, Lucille and his merry gang. I was surprised that it took you this long to get here. You know better not to interrupt with my door closed. What is it that you want?
Nothing from you. Maxon? May I borrow you for a moment?
No. You don't just walk in here after you've been gone for this long and start making demands. Wait, do you have any idea how much we had to pay Shade to get you back?
Do you have any idea what we sacrificed to save you?
Sacrifice?
Not but
What?
2 hours ago.
Oh, your time. Your time is that important to you, then?
I'm talking about Quill.
All right, Quill, yes.
Don't
Maxon,
say his name.
He kind of shoots you a look. Do you happen to know if the young boy had any family or not? Well, it doesn't matter. If he did, send flowers or something along those lines. And make note that we're going to have to find his replacement.
I'm going to charge the desk.
As you begin to charge forward towards the desk, Maxon kind of looks to you and shakes his head a little bit.
Stop.
No. Let him approach. Let's see what this big man all of a sudden has to say. By all means, Lucille, go on. You have our attention.
You are a miserable, soulless snake, and I have nothing to say to you.
And you are a scared little boy who runs away from his problems. Do we have everything off of our chest now?
I dismiss him at this point.
Ah, yes, of
And just
course.
look to Max.
Running away from your fights as usual. You'll do very well as a junior senator.
It's not going to happen.
But that's where you're wrong, Lucille. You don't have a choice in the matter. As
How do you
far as
figure?
you run, you can run as far as you want. You will return here and do as you're told. I don't care how many times we have to pull you back. I don't care how many laws I have to impose. Your place was written the day you were born. You don't get a choice in that.
You can keep building up walls, and we'll keep tearing them down.
Of course you will. Of course. You and your little group of scamps here? Is that it? At this point,
We're actually kind of
Maxon
nice.
is starting to try and interject. Lady Vander, as he continues to try and speak up, Maxon just Senator Vander continues to berate both you and your friends. I'm sorry, who are you? He looks towards Alara.
My name is Alara. Nice to meet you. She'll curtsy.
Well, a little doughy-eyed, but clearly she has proper manners.
Damn it. Alara's a little bit proud. Okay. Well,
I look back at Alara and I shake my head at her disappointedly.
Okay. Okay, but I'm focusing. Okay, so listen, we're actually really nice people and we helped save your life too. Actually, Lucy was the one that sort of led the charge on the whole thing. And I don't really know what's happened between you and Lucy before this, but Lucy's actually a really great person and he's really brave. And he saved my life a few times. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on here.
Do you
And
always
if
talk
Lucy
this
doesn't-
much?
Yeah, I do. I can keep talking. I'll just
Yes,
keep talking
I've
because you're
met-
being so rude.
I've met individuals like you, my dear. Those who feel the need to talk and talk and talk and still have nothing proper to say.
Well, no, you're just not listening to what I'm saying.
You would know firsthand, wouldn't you?
You know, Lucille, what we've given for you to have this life, you'll never understand.
A life I didn't want.
Oh, of course, a life you didn't want. None of us have the lives that we truly want. We're politicians. We're senators. We're Vanders. You never have a choice in the matter. Do you not understand this?
I refuse to accept that.
Refuse to accept it all you'd like, my friend, but you will never have your way. You and your
We'll see.
little band of merry men and women, it's just a waste of time.
That's a debate I'd like to have. What's a waste of time? What isn't? That's a good one.
Why do
But
you
this
even
isn't.
care?
Yeah, just let him go.
You don't even
Let
seem
someone
to
be
give
here.
a shit about him, so why do you even care what he does?
As tempers begin to flare a little bit more between Senator Vander and the party, Maxon can no longer hold it. Lady Vander, Lucy has the mark. As soon as he says this, you all feel a strange surge overtake the room. You've all felt this before once or twice. It is the same feeling you get just before Lucy sneezes.
Uh-oh.
Oh!
Oh no.
Wow, Chad.
You all
Wow.
look towards Lucy, expecting him to sneeze, but he doesn't move.
Oh no.
Oh no.
When a single word is cried out, all of you, silence! I need everyone to roll wisdom saving throws for me.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh.
I'm not good at those.
Oh shit.
No.
Shit.
There was a redemption for advantage for me, or inspiration.
I think that
Did I
was,
just
that
use
was
that?
I thought it was all kinds of awkward. It wasn't inspiration.
Well, it was both.
It was both. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, you had a slew of redemptions. We'll get to those.
Okay, I take it as a
We just-
no then. Okay. Not right now.
Oh, but I have inspiration.
Trix and
Oh, no.
Eli both have inspiration.
Well, that was a 7 for me, if anyone.
I'm just waiting to hear what we were supposed, what the save was.
It was
Yeah, I
a
got
wisdom
12.
saving throw. 12?
Yeah.
What'd you
13.
get?
Both.
13?
12.
12? Pavo?
11.
10.
10? Shade?
14.
14. As you hear the words escape Lady Vander's lips, you suddenly feel your voices practically pulled from your throats. For the next 10 minutes, none of you can speak.
That'll
Lady
be fun.
Vander.
Badass.
Lady Vander stands. I've had enough of this. She looks over to the group. I would appreciate all of you if you would be ever so considerate in my own home. I don't mean to insult, but we have ways here. I expect you to respect those, please. She turns towards Senator Vander. And you, remember your place. Remember who was the Vander here first. You can control the outside. I control this household. At least you ever forget that again. She turns to Lucy. She waves her hand in front of his face. Lucy, you feel your voice now suddenly return back to your throat. Lucy, you and I need to speak. She grabs you by the hand and begins to lead you out of the office. She takes you down the hallway, just a short ways. 2 sitting chairs that seem to rest by a night table centered in the hallway. She sits you down at it. She looks to you. My dear Lulu, once just a child, and now stands before me as a young man. My, how you've grown. I still remember you as a boy, if only yesterday. Do you remember when you and I would go to the memorial gardens to pay our respects? You used to splash the water from the fountain and see how far it would go. I'll never forget what you told me when I asked you why you did it. She reaches out and pushes a lock of hair back behind your ear. You said, because you wanted to help the flowers grow. Because you wanted to help them grow. And then you and I would walk past the markers and I'd tell you the stories of our kin past. Well, there's one last story that I think you should hear. The story of the first Vander, Gaylia Vander, the mortal champion of infinity. Gaylia Vander, she was considered a wise and powerful sorceress that had the power to control the outcome of every battle. And the champion's weapons that she wielded gave her power to almost control fate itself. Legend has it that, although there was no formal leader of the group of champions, however, if there was one individual that the rest relied on the most, it was her. Now, the rest of the story is not common knowledge. It is a family secret that not even your father knows and is only passed down through blood. While the champions were sent to Qatar to live their final days, there was another task that was required of them: to guard the tomb of a great primordial dragon named Thule. Whilst traveling the island one day, Gaylia came across a group of people freshly docked on the coast. When introduced to their leaders, she was introduced to two men. The first was a rich entrepreneur, a magical tinkerer that had heard tales of Qatar and wished to learn of its secrets and mine its resources. His name, as you know, was Octavo Persage. The second was a bright young wizard that seemed interested in the study of chronomagic. His name was Resilian Vo. Given their common interest in the fates, Gaylia and Resilian quickly grew a bond together. And while Octavo was busy raising the settlement and conducting scouting missions, Gaylia and Resilian were busy falling in love. One night by the fire, Gaylia told the two men of a secret place, a civilization completely made of a magical gold that was accessible only to the mortal champions and a select few known as the Guardians. The Guardians acted as a servant to the champions in their task to guard the tomb, and were gifted immense magical knowledge by the prime aspects themselves. Octavo and Resilian begged her to take them there, and after months of persuasion, she finally gave in and brought Octavo, Resilian, and Resilian's scribe to the City of Gold. Years passed and the city grew. Led by Octavo, Resilian, and Gaylia, it flourished. Now a trade partner with the Guardians, Boku had finally begun to reach the metropolis that it would one day become. Octavo and Resilian both spent much time at the city being taught their secrets, and by this time, Resilian and Gaylia had married and bore children, the first of your ancestors. Then one fateful day changed the course of Boku and possibly Qatar entirely. The Forgotten Day was what it's called. What was otherwise a typical day quickly turned to the worst as Octavo and Resilian's scribe, now almost a man himself, returned to the city with the two corpses of Resilian and Gaylia. Neither of them remembered what had happened, just that they had awoken in the jungle with two bodies. Strangely, though, no one else seemed to remember them at all. Like their memory had been pulled from the populace's mind entirely. And when asked who they were, Octavo simply pointed to each and said, "This is my brother of time, and this is my sister of entropy." Resilian was built a massive memorial that is now known as the Temple of Brother Time, and Gaylia was buried here, within the confines of the Vander Palace. Not long after these events, it was said that Octavo left Qatar, never to return again, leaving the scribe to not only look after the city, but to care for Gaylia and Resilian's infant children. But before Octavo left, the people asked what was to be done for defense. He told them that one day the rightful heir of Boku would return to defend it. They would bear the mark of the Vander, the sigil of the mortal champions. It seems as though that day has come, and Vander now once again wears the mark. I realize this is much to take in all at once, my dear son. And if you have any questions, I will try and answer them to the best of my abilities. But my knowledge of this is limited.
Lucy's just trying to, clearly trying to put everything together in his brain. I'm sure I have a million questions, but this is all it is a lot to take in. What was that name again? The sage.
His name was Rasilian Vo. He came here with Octavo.
Are you saying that Rasilian was my grandfather?
No. Much older than that. He is the first of our descendants.
My bad, I was doing the math since I'm the third, so I was just, but that's Lucille Vander the third. Okay. Oh, gosh. So, what am I meant to do now?
Well, the choice is yours. But if you seek to learn more, and she gives you a little bit of a look, a telling look, a knowing look. My dear Lucy, you answered your own question so many years ago. It's time for you to go back to the fountain and splash once more. Perhaps this time, its waters will help you grow.
Gives her a get where you're coming from nod. Okay. Well, I suppose I should go do that then.
Before you stand, she puts her hand on your on your thigh. I'm very proud of you. No matter what your father says.
Your opinion's the only one that's mattered to me. And he'll put his hand on her cheek.
She kind of hugs up against your hand, feeling the warmth on her chin, or on her skin.
Well, yours and Bets's. Just to, break the tension.
She gives a smile and a little bit of a laugh. Yes, well, of course. But perhaps it's time to go back to your father's study. Don't worry about him. I'll make sure that he is handled. I feel your path is much larger than that of a Senate seat now. For greater or worse.
All right. He'll get up and he'll take his mother's hand and guide her back to the study, like a good boy.
like a good son does.
You're a good kid.
As you walk back into the study, Lady Vander waves her hands in the air like a quartet leader closing a song. You all feel your voices now once again return to your throats. If you wouldn't mind, I would like to have a few words with my husband privately, please. Maxon,
No problem. Lucy, Eli will get up and start to walk out.
Maxon, if you'll tend to Lucy and his friends. He nods his head before leaving the room with you.
Bye, Miss Vander.
Always a pleasure to see you, Alara. And she'll give you a curtsy.
Got a curtsy from Lady Vander.
Scoring all the curtsies tonight.
As you all leave the room and make your way back downstairs to the hallway, Lucy.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
You feel, once again, a little bit of a sneeze coming on.
Sure do.
Go ahead and roll a D100 for me.
I'll roll 2. All right. What do you guys think? Do we go with 20 or 92?
92.
Ooh,
No.
92.
I'm gonna go with 92.
Higher's always better.
Show me 92.
Okay. Jesus.
Oh no.
There's nothing on that page. It's just blank.
Yeah, I just make this stuff up as I go along. As you all watch Lucy lean back, letting out a massive sneeze, suddenly popping into existence.
Oh.
3 very small, about almost half the size of Eli, mini Lucys now all of a sudden pop up around Lucy. They begin to scurry about and begin to look at all of you, pulling on some of your clothes. Pavo, they take specific interest to you. They start pulling on your feathers and laughing loudly as one of them is able to pluck one out from your backside.
I smacked that one.
Whoa! And it'll run around. They begin to jump up on different pieces of furniture, and it just are now causing a commotion.
Eli will be like, what the fuck is going on?
Champions, what the hell is going on?
Jeez. Wow.
Maxon looks
God.
towards Lucy. I see your problem continues.
Yes, I still have my moments, it seems.
Well, as
No,
I've
never
told
quite
you,
like this as he shakes one of the Lucy's off his leg.
well, as I've instructed you many times in the past, you must take control of the magics. You must guide it, and you must lead it. It will do nothing without your word.
I would, but I don't have the sheet in front of me. I don't get a pick. Just kidding.
Could you try
They're the
telling them to
kittens.
calm down?
Yeah.
But to me? Are you saying that to
Yeah,
me?
yeah. Tell them to
Tell
to
the little
stop
Lucy's?
all of their
At
insanity.
this point,
I'll give it a shot, and I just say...
Eli's fully like hunched over as 2 of them are pulling on his coat sleeve.
Oh, no.
I'll give it a shot. Stop. Do they do anything?
Did they stop?
Surprisingly enough, they immediately stop pulling and turn their attention to Lucy.
Eli will straighten himself.
Wow.
Father like son.
No, that's my mom right there. You heard that commanded voice? Go garden or something.
Oh. Bye, Mini Lucy's.
In unison, they
Turn
all
them to
bow
garden
towards
gnomes.
you before running towards the first window. They immediately find something and throw it through the window before jumping out and heading into the garden.
Oh my god.
Oprah is on the 3rd floor.
Maxon, don't tell Mother about that one.
Don't worry, I'll already take care of it. He's already walking over and casting a powerful mending spell as you watch pieces of the glass begin to reform in the windowsill itself before it starts to merge together as a single pane once more.
You'll have to teach me that one sometime.
Maxon, is there any way of stopping this, or you know, I'm worried for him. Like he might actually get himself killed.
Well, one of the reasons his mother and I thought it best that he stay mostly in the confines of Boku as well as the Vander Palace. But I see that his fates have changed accordingly. There are ways, but as I've told Lucy before, he must try to control it, as opposed to letting it free. The sneeze that happens is only a manifestation of the powers. It's how they come out of him. But while he can't control the magic directly just yet, he might be able to guide the magic more properly.
Well, we'll have to work on that.
Like aiming one of his nostrils?
Perhaps.
Just cock my head at Ollie.
Maybe how like you control your magic, Ollie, in the same way.
Well, I have a focus. It helps me focus my magic.
Maybe we should get Lucy a focus.
I have a
I
focus.
use one too. Oh.
Maybe a stronger one?
Sorry.
I just got a new focus, guys.
Oh.
At this point, can Eli go up to Maxon and introduce himself?
Absolutely.
Hi, Maxon, and he'll like reach out his hand to shake his hand.
Oh, yes, my dear friend. Good to meet you.
My name is Eli, and it's actually because of me that we're all back in Boku. I'm told that you have some information about the Golden City.
Make a persuasion check for me.
Okay.
You still have inspiration?
I do.
Well, maybe use it.
You should definitely her whole mission. Relax on this persuasion check.
No, I'm not going to use it. It's a 12.
You sure about that?
What?
No, I don't want it. Eventually it'll come out.
That's the whole reason we came here, but alright.
It'll come out. It'll come out.
I know.
Maxon looks to you strangely. While I appreciate that you are friends with Lucy, it is information that I don't think I'm ready to pass on at this point.
Did you ever pass it on to my parents, Bruno and Dolly?
Bruno and Dolly. I
What do you call the
remember.
cops?
That was quite some time ago.
Yeah, they were taken from our home by a member of the Presage family, and we think that they found the Golden City. And I think you may have helped them. I'm looking for them.
It is very important that we find the Golden City for her parents. For all we know, they could be there.
I will say, as I told your parents, I do not remember the location of the Golden City.
What did you tell them?
That a very long time ago, I once knew. I myself have been there. But that day was lost to me. I do remember that waking in the jungle the next morning. Things seemed different there. The rain cascaded upward. I'm sorry, my years are far beyond me at this point.
But
I wish I could tell you more.
whatever you told them, they found it.
How are you so sure?
Because the last time anybody spoke to them, they were in a place where it rained upward.
Then perhaps you were right, my young halfling friend.
Right about what?
Well, if they found the place where it rains upward, then that is the place that I remember last.
Which
Lucy
is what has brought you to us. Or
Lucy
brought us to you.
looks down and just mutters, the forgotten day. And then looks to Alara. And then looks back at Maxon. Says, Restilian? And I'm gauging his face and how he reacts to the name.
He puts his head down for a moment and smiles. He was a great teacher once upon a time.
You were his scribe.
Well. He nods his head.
What? I have so many questions. Lucy, how did you know that? Also, what? Hey!
We have a lot to talk about, Alara.
Okay. When were you his scribe?
When I myself was a young boy.
Okay, wait, hold on. Time math here. How old does Maxon look?
He is probably the oldest elf you've ever seen.
Okay. Okay. So timeline-wise, this still makes sense. He could have scribed for... Wait. Right, it still makes sense if he was younger, and then I knew... No, because Restilian... How old was Restilian? Like, he was just a few years older than me, right?
I would say probably about 10 years older than you right now.
Okay.
Don't try to make sense of time. You're a time wizard. You know how this shit goes.
The player sucks at this. Okay. So how old was Restilian when you knew him then?
Oh, he was a young man.
Okay, because I just saw him, like, you know, a couple months ago now.
Yes, he would always speak of the distant future that he was from.
What are you talking about? That's official. You now know that he did it, right? So that's what that means, right?
Yeah, I guess this is okay. Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out, is my past with Restilian's future? Or was it his past?
My dear, Restilian died many years ago.
Probably safe to say that he knew you before he made the jump back into time.
Yeah.
Or forward. This is all, I think, beyond our comprehending. But if you don't
As far as
mind,
not remembering, would the ale that we were given from Trellis work?
I don't think so. I don't think it's meant for that. It's meant to have you remember things without any pain.
But
I don't know.
Didn't
if
he
it'll...
carry people back? Wouldn't that cause pain?
Sorry? Didn't who carry who back from where? Oh, Maxon. You're talking about Maxon?
Correct.
I thought about that.
I don't think we know that yet, though.
Oh, I thought he said
Maxon,
He just said it to, I think he just said to Eli that he woke up in the jungle or something.
you did.
Yeah,
Maxon, if you don't know how to get to the Golden City anymore, So you at least have a lead for us on where we might start looking next, because you are our only lead on the Golden City.
Well, I take it that Lady Vander has told you the story, Lucy.
She has.
Then I am not your only lead, am I?
I don't believe you are. Which reminds me, if you all would like to accompany me, there's somewhere I have to go.
Okay. I also just want to clarify one thing. I'm not an echo. I'm real. Just wanted to say that.
Ah, yes. Perhaps you should visit Brother Time's temple tomorrow night. Roughly around this same time. I think there's something there that you should see.
Okay. Tomorrow night, Brother Time's temple. Where's that?
It's across from the gallery that
Oh, right. Okay.
which let's not forget that we still have some people to help when it comes to that. Speaking of which, Maxon.
Yes.
In our rooms, there are several paintings that have a necrotic magic in them, and I was wondering if you could take a look at them. We believe souls or bodies or something is trapped inside. It's the missing performers.
I will take a look at it for you while you complete what you need to do.
Thank you.
Of course, at once, unless there's anything else you need of me.
I have a question.
Of course, Professor Alara.
About that, did I ever teach you anything about a necklace?
Go to the temple tomorrow night. I feel many of your questions will be answered.
Okay. It's really cool that you know Rastolian too.
He was a great and wise man.
He was. He is? I don't know anymore.
Eli will kind of like look at him a little helpless and be like, what should I do? I need to find my parents. I need to find this city.
Follow Lucy. I believe some answers you might be looking for. He'll help you find them.
Lucy will look at Eli and just mutter, starting to feel that everything is connected.
Me too.
Give him like a knowing nod as he starts making his way out of the palace to the, was it a cemetery? How do they describe it?
The memorial gardens.
The memorial gardens and to the fountain there. So.
Eli will nod back and thank Maxon and follow Lucy.
Of course. As you begin to leave the Vander Palace, you walk towards the memorial center, or gardens. Upon the way, Pavo, you notice something shiny in the ground along the trail.
Lara's rubbing off on everyone these days.
Looking down and picking it up, you see a beautiful compass, one unlike anything you've ever seen before. The interior of it doesn't seem to have a spoke on it that leads the way. Almost more so just a liquidy substance underneath, of two colors. One, a vibrant blue, and the other, a bright goldish yellow, in a very thin sliver of a line. the colors never seem to merge at all, almost like oil and water. As you look at it, you begin to spin the dial. It continues to point forward towards the fountain that lays in front of you. Your compass seems to lead you to the nearest source of fresh water.
Nice.
With that, you feel a little bit invigorated. You could use a drink, as could all of your companions.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Should come in handy when we're out in the woods. So.
Taking a large gulp, again you feel revigorated and rejuvenated slightly. Inspired to continue to move forward. And with that, my friends, I think we're going to take a short break for the evening.
Oh man.
I know, right? I just want to touch that fountain. Come on, let me touch that fountain. Touch that fountain.
As always, we welcome any questions that you might have in chat.
Except time related.
Even time related. We'll try and answer that as best as possible. Although, I don't know if we'll be able to or not. But with that said, go get yourself some beverages, whether it be your apple juices, your orange juices, your milk juices. Sure, why not?
Oh.
And go ahead and pop yourself some popcorn at the same time. We'll return back here in about 5 minutes. So guys, stay tuned. And welcome back, everyone. So, we had a few questions come in over the course of our break. First and foremost, so is Alara her own master? I'm confused. I think we're all a little confused right now, Havoc. I think we're all a little confused right now. But hey, all the more reason to stick around. Shade, how do you feel about hugging your companions for the first time?
Or anyone for the first time.
Yeah.
That never happened. I'm not sure. I'm in denial right now.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Eli, why didn't you pickpocket the guy when you shook his hand?
Pickpocket Maxon? Maxon's on our side.
I guess
Also, I
that's
feel
way
like
to
that would have ended really badly.
Probably.
Yeah.
Pick your battles.
Alara, how do echoes work?
Well.
This is like the test after.
Yeah, I know. This is the pop quiz.
Jesus.
I should just take all these notes and write them down for later and then give them to my players.
Well,
tacos or...
Okay, we're not going to answer that for them?
You can go ahead and try and answer it, by all means.
What do you mean, try and answer it?
No,
well, all we
faith
know
in you.
so far... I know what?
You
Echoes
try.
aren't really particularly related to Alara specifically, but now that we're in Boku, there's this thing called the Festival of Time, where these echoes of people who once were there before appear at a certain period of time. Also, Shade has an echo, so maybe we should ask Shade about echoes.
Yeah, he might be the right person to ask.
Mm-hmm.
From our good friend Fowl, tacos or nachos?
Not. Oh, that's hard.
Tacos.
Tacos.
But like if they're
know.
soft shell.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to.
nachos
Shell
if
the
you put
nachos.
taco meat on top. That's good.
I'm gonna have to blow all your minds and introduce you to Tanakos.
Oh
Yep.
my gosh.
Oh,
No.
There's so many better ways to put those two words together.
Listen, when you're a nachologist like I am, you don't have to worry about things like words.
Could you just say tachos?
Yeah.
Or not.
Dirty.
Maybe. That's probably a better idea.
Someone's been in my tachos.
Lucy, in regards to your father, when will you teach him to respect you?
Lucy
Wow.
has, for a very long time now, has not cared what his father thinks of him. He's just trying to get him to stop trying to control his life and thinking that he has ownership over him. So he doesn't give a damn. I would like to hit him.
You might just get your chance one day, my friend. You might just get your chance.
Do it.
Ollie, who taught you to be so courteous?
You know what?
Wow.
He had a very he had a solid upbringing, and also the teachings of Gibble.
That was a sus answer.
That-
I'm on to you, man. I'm on to you.
Shade, how do echoes work?
You think
Bonus
about
points
them.
Crimson on that one.
You think about them. They pop out and they slap Elara across the face just to tell them.
That's exactly how they work.
They're solid.
That tracks. Yep. That's canon now. The only reason why fighter types have the Echo subclass is just to slap silly wizards.
Silly.
Trix, who's your patron?
Gus.
All right. Fair enough.
Justin,
There you
is all you
go.
get.
We can finally fill out that one part. Her patron is Gus.
Gus Jin.
So you got one secret tonight, guys. You got one secret. But with that said, just quickly, oh no, we'll do that later. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump back into tonight's episode. As you all make your way to the Memorial Gardens, Lucy leads you to a particular spot directly in the center. All around it you see beautiful tropical flowers of different colors and hues that rival even those of that you saw during the parade. A bit of nostalgia comes over you, Lucy, as you remember the fond memories of walking through the markers that lay out in front of you with your mother, oh so many years ago. Making your way to the fountain proper, you see a relatively large fountain that easily stands roughly 15 to 20 feet tall. It is an exact replica of the city of Boku itself. Each tier being another point to which the water cascades down. Directly on the outer rim of the large fountain, that's roughly about 30 feet in diameter. You see the 8 statues, familiar to what you've seen on the outskirts of Boku. However, these ones are slightly different. Each of them point to the very peak of the fountain itself.
Okay. Lucy's going to walk up to the fountain and start by sitting at the edge of it and sort of just waving his hand in and out of the water. What does the top of the fountain look like exactly?
The top of the fountain, strangely enough, it doesn't have the Senate building sitting on top of it. Almost as if this was made long before the Senate building existed. It just seems to be a flat point where the water seems to pour out from.
Am I tall enough to reach the top of that?
No.
Or would I have to walk in the water?
You'd actually have to climb up the fountain. Again, the fountain is in between 15 and 20 feet tall at its top.
Lucy, what's happening? Are you okay?
There's something I think I'm supposed to find here.
Okay.
I'm gonna do one big splash real quick to the flowers.
Being able to beat your record entirely, you scoop out a large bit of water and splash it. A cascade of water hits the flowers creating that familiar noise of water hitting that of petals and leaves.
I'd like to go pick one of those flowers for Fidget, just to feed him.
Okay. Any particular color?
He really likes purple.
Okay. You do happen to see a beautiful lilac that pulls up through the stalks of some of the other flowers. It's very strange and different from the lilacs that you're used to, as it does also have a bit of a star-shaped cup, meaning that it flows up in a flute, but then it kind of cascades over the top, creating a little bit of a cup.
Ooh. How's Fidget responding to it? I'd like to just kind of nestle him in.
As Fidget kind of worms up and inches up to the edge of your fingertip, he leans over, seemingly smelling the flower. He then stands up on his back legs, and you see him kind of scrunch up and down a little bit before diving in headfirst into the flower.
Great. I'm just gonna put the flower in my little crevice.
Okay.
Between my armor and my body.
Your little lapel area. Yep.
Right. Lucy's gonna start wading through the fountain towards the centerpiece.
Lucy.
Go for a swim.
What is
Doesn't respond. Doesn't respond. I guess I will climb the fountain to get a better look at the top.
Make an athletics check for me.
Could also ask Pavo.
Pavo?
No, he's doing this himself. Oh, I'm a -1 athletics.
It's like a Pavo-sized bird feeder.
Oh, 14.
You begin to climb up, and you make it almost to the top before you grab onto a bit of a slippery part, falling backward and crashing down into the pool below, soaking yourself entirely.
Jesus, Lucy.
It's about as good of a roll as I could have gotten.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
I'm so sorry I didn't prepare Featherfall or Fly.
Are you all just gonna stand there? Or are you gonna help me look?
What are you
looking
here?
for?
What's
You
that?
haven't said anything. So we're just
Yeah.
watching you make a fool of yourself.
Thought you were just frolicking.
I don't know what I'm looking for. Just
So why are you trying to
for
get to the
something.
top?
Okay, is there a ledge close to the top of the fountain that I could toss my dagger onto and then teleport up to?
I mean, I could fly to the top and tell
Or
you what's
that.
up there.
Yeah.
Real easy.
Oh shoot,
like
I
to-
did have Featherfall prepared. Sorry.
I'd like to just go up.
What would you like? Lucy?
I'm gonna go up to the fountain and I'm just gonna toss 1 copper and I'm like, I'll help you, Lucy. I wish that Lucy finds what he's looking for.
Oh, Eve, that's so nice.
A surge of magic begins to emanate from entirely around. No, I'm just kidding. What are y'all doing?
So I guess we're investigating the fountain.
Sure.
Would
Yeah,
you like
I'm just
me to
looking
fly
around.
to the top and
Yeah,
inspect
just
it and
help,
tell you?
Pavo, however you can.
I'm waiting for you to actually ask for it.
Whoa.
Please help me, kind, large bird man.
I'll fly to the top where he's trying to get to and describe whatever I see up there.
Okay. As you fly up to the top, you perch on a bit of a ledge as the water begins to flow through your talons. Looking down, you see a pool that seems to reside at the top of the fountain. There's probably enough space to fit a relatively large person down it. Bubbles seem to rush up from far below. The bottom is deep enough that you're unable to see it. But as you perch, you see the back of your hand begin to glow.
Oh boy.
Showing you guys.
I'll look at my chest.
You all now notice that each one of your sigils is now glowing.
Oh boy.
Is there a way to turn this fountain off so the water can go down?
Would
I
I
mean,
know of a way to do that? Damn.
Would I fit in the
Probably not.
water or in the hole? Because I don't breathe.
I don't know. I look at Ollie. Would he fit?
He would probably fit, yeah.
Oh god, is this a water temple?
Wait. Before we go in, is everyone, I know we had some time to relax on the carriage ride, but is everyone okay from the battle
I
that
haven't
we
taken any
had?
hits. I still have temporary hit points.
I took a short
Okay.
rest. I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm full on. I'm full on health, not so full on spell slots.
I feel yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think we'll be okay though.
Well,
Sure.
Monsters.
did somebody want to toss me up a rope here and I could secure it to help it to climb a little easier?
Mm.
I'll toss my
Assuming
rope
we
up
can-
to Pablo.
Breathe through there.
Well,
Yeah, Ollie, would you mind possibly
Secure.
going first
Well, why don't we try
and
to
telling
turn up?
us how far the water goes down?
What if he can't get back out? We can tie a rope to him?
That's what the rope's for.
Yeah, let's
He's
do
like
that.
1,000,000 pounds.
There's
Well,
six.
all of
There's
us.
7 of us.
No
There's 6 of
offense,
us.
It's about
Ollie.
400.
Look how strong I am.
Alright.
There's no strength there.
Make a deception check, Alara.
I mean, do I really need to?
No.
We all know I'm lying.
Did Pablo catch the rope that I tossed up?
Sure.
Yeah, it wasn't too far of a toss. It kind of spread out a little bit in the air from the coiled confines that you had it in, but he was easily able to grab one of the ends of the rope and pulls it upward.
I'm gonna secure it against the fountain so they can use it as a anchor port to climb up.
Okay. As you tie it off, you begin to start to feed it into the pool, then realizing that the bubbles seem to keep it afloat.
You gotta tie something to it.
Well, I was tying it just so that the rope would hang over so they can climb up to it.
Oh,
Oh,
from
I
okay,
hear
so
ya.
from that, okay, sure,
Yeah.
from that point, no problem. I thought you were putting it in the fountain. My bad.
Okay,
Yeah, you tie it over
climb
and
the
throw it
rope.
over the edge.
I'll climb the rope and then I'm going to cast light on a copper piece and drop it down to see if I can see how far down it goes, if I can hear it land on something.
Okay. As you cast over top of this small coin, you let it slip through your fingers as it falls into the water. You watch as some of the bubbles kind of push it and toss it, almost like it's tumbling in between the waves. It takes a while for it to get closer to the bottom. And as it does, you now see just how far down this well goes. By your estimates, probably at least 50 or 60 feet down. And as it comes to a rest on the bottom, you see a shimmering floor with a circle of pearlescent runes carved into it. Embedded in the center of the circle, what looks like a shining gemstone.
I just
Is it
realized
safe
something.
to come up?
What's that?
I mean, I haven't called Shadow in a while. If you want 10 minutes, I can make Shadow a fish, maybe, and send him down.
Sounds as good an idea as any.
Can you do that thing where you can see what Shadow sees?
Mm-hmm. But I'll
Wow, I haven't
just
seen
sort of
Shadow in
render it
ages.
useless. So maybe, how tall is the top of this fountain? Like, can we all stand on it or no?
No. It's
Okay.
pretty crowded already with just Pavo and Lucy up there.
Okay.
Well, we can
Well,
send Ollie down like he suggested because he doesn't need to breathe.
but then we can't talk to him.
And what if he runs into trouble?
Tug on the rope.
Yeah, he'll
This
bring
way-
the rope with him.
But how is he going to communicate anything about what's happening?
Well, he can come back up, can't he?
Okay, we'll send Ollie instead of the familiar. That absolutely makes sense. Go for it, Ollie.
No! Send your fish.
I'm all for the familiar going, and then if a human being, or not human, I mean, if someone needs to go down there physically, then
Do the ritual, Laura.
Okay. I start doing the ritual.
Okay. Taking 10 minutes, you spend the time creating the ritual. As you stand closer to the edge of the pond, a little bit of a wisp of a shining blue and purple smoke begin to emanate just above the water's edge. As it begins to form and squeeze tighter, becoming more and more opaque as it does, it starts to resemble the shape of a fish. And just like that, it finally condenses, and your familiar shadow is once again in front of you. It swims around the pool like a couple laps, just being outside of the pocket dimension once more. Doing one final lap, it leaps out of the water, just arcing one time before speeding around and coming back up to you, looking up from the water's edge.
Okay. I send Shadow. Can somebody just?
I'll come
Can
down
I
and
just-
pick him up and plop him down inside the top of the fountain.
Don't
If
need
you'd like.
him.
Sure. I'll just sit.
You finally got it.
Pablo, this is a moment of trust. You eat my familiar. Don't eat Shadow.
I won't.
Okay. I'm gonna sit on the edge of the fountain because I'm gonna basically go blind. And also I won't be able to hear you guys, but you'll be able to hear me, right? Shit.
Yes, you can talk.
I think that's
you
how
can
it
talk.
goes.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Okay.
Picking Shadow up, bringing him to the top of the fountain, and nicely letting him into the pond.
Okay.
Spikes him.
As you let go of Shadow, he begins to swim around in the top pool.
Okay, I tell Shadow telepathically to go down to where that coin is.
He starts to swim down. You now seeing out of his eye as you watch trails of bubbles kind of zoom past you, some larger than his head himself. As you make your way down to the very bottom, you too now see this strange pearlescent circle of ruins with the stone or gemstone directly in the center. Upon closer inspection, you can see at the very top of the gemstone a sigil you are very familiar with. The sigil of the Mortal Champions.
Okay, I say, okay, so the gemstone has the sigil of the Mortal Champions. Should I get Shadow to just touch it? What are the other sigils around it? Or is it only on the gemstone?
The sigil is only on the gemstone. The rest are runes that you're unfamiliar with.
Okay. I repeat the same information.
But you can't hear us.
Correct.
No,
Should I
Racilian's
come up
my
with
father.
Tap once for yes, tap
Racilian's
twice
my
for no?
ancestor.
Yeah, if you think Shadow should touch the gem, somebody hold my right hand.
I feel bad.
Do we think that Shadow should touch the gem?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
try it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
I have a feeling one of us have to touch it, but sure, why not?
I'll touch Alara's right hand.
All right. So I just tell Shadow to touch it, try and nudge it, see if anything happens.
Little fish boop.
Bring it back up to the surface.
As he moves himself forward into range of the gemstone, you watch as he gets close enough to touch it with his nose. And as soon as he comes in contact, your consciousness snaps back into your own mind.
Damn it.
Did it work?
No, I think Shadow. Shadow's probably gone back to his other dimension. I think
my
Shadow
God.
was destroyed, or this form, unfortunately.
Poor
That's
Shadow.
not good. Oh, maybe it's like an anti-magic field. Like, well, Shadow's okay. I just, I missed him a little, so it sucks.
While
now
she's
he's-
saying all this, I'm diving in.
Oh,
And I'm
All
going
right.
to push my way through and touch the gemstone.
God.
As you swim down as hard as you can, the bubbles seem to push back on you. I need you to go ahead and make an athletics check for me.
Good at these. That is a 10. But I'm going to use my inspiration.
Okay.
That is a 5. There are 3. So it's 10.
As you continue to push downward, you struggle. You begin to find it a little hard to breathe. Make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Better at these. Oh my god, that was almost in that 20. 8.
8. You get
It's
within
a 2
about,
and I have a +6.
if you get to about 10 feet of the bottom before you just struggle and can't take any more, and rocket it back up to the top, gasping for breath.
well, good to see that you're alive. Would you like to let Ollie try now?
Fine, just hurry.
All right, I think you might need to get down, or at least one of you might need
Yeah,
to get down. So I can get up.
I get down so that he can get up.
I'm gonna
Pavo,
climb
keep
up.
an eye on him.
Well, if
Okay.
something happens,
before I
can
climb up,
just use my speed and dart my way down.
I'm just gonna take the flower out with Fidget and here, Trix, can you hold on to this for me?
Trix is
Oh, yeah.
at the bottom.
Yeah,
You'd
no
have to give it to Pavo, I think.
He hasn't gone.
No,
up
I
yet.
just said before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't think Fidget will like the water.
No.
Fair comment. Ollie, as you climb to the top, you look down into the well, and I assume without hesitation, jump in.
Yep.
Okay. You easily rocket down to the bottom of the pool. As you land down, you come in range of this strange gemstone. You too now see the ruins that seem to be all around it in a circular, with the sigil of the mortal champion directly at the top of the sigil, or of the gemstone.
All right, I'm just gonna.
Touch
Yeah,
it. Pussy.
He's at the bottom.
I'm gonna just back away from it a bit, and I'm gonna conjure my water elemental.
Okay. You don't have a lot of room down there, but you're able to
there's
hug the
not?
side a
Okay.
little bit.
Oh,
Do you still want to?
okay,
Do you still want to invoke your water elemental?
I don't think so. I didn't know there's not a lot of room. I think the water elemental is quite large. So, yeah, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna go grab the sigil.
Okay. As you reach down, you touch the sigil. And as you do, your mind almost is taken over for a moment. Flashes of people that you've never seen before. Well, technically untrue. 2 you've seen before. 1 in a tomb on Survivor's Island, and the second in a temple you entered into a snake's mouth to get to. They seem to be battling something. You can't put your finger on what it is. And suddenly your mind snaps back. As you look down at your hand, you now see the gemstone is completely glowing. And to the rest of you above, you begin to watch as the water begins to drain. As the water flows out of each layer and begins to dry up, the large pool at the bottom also drains. A grinding noise is heard as the arms of the statues move downward, now pointing at the lower pool. As the last bit of moisture wicks away, the rocky bottom begins to crack and fragment. The large sections of stone begin to fall downward, repositioning themselves into a spiral staircase leading into the darkness below.
I guess they don't see
Chamber of
that.
Secrets.
I thought that
I'm
was
gonna call
that's
up-
on the outside, correct? Or is this inside? where
it's
Ollie-
on the outside. Ollie, you're the one who doesn't see that.
Oh, okay.
Does this
Yeah.
open up for Ollie to get out, or does he have to climb back out?
Well, at this point, the water is now
That's kind of
half where it was in the well, and it continues to drain down. The water seems to be completely leaving the fountain in its entirety.
I'll toss him that rope. Let's get him out here.
Yeah.
I'll lower the rope down to Ollie.
Okay.
Alright, holding the sigil in my hand, I imagine. Or is it just a...
Yeah,
Is
the
it just a sigil
sigil,
on the
the
ground?
gemstone itself is embedded into the floor. You just
Oh,
put your
okay.
hand over top of it.
Alright, I'll grab the rope and I'll head up. Assuming I got up okay.
Make an athletics check for me.
Okay. 16.
16 with that, yeah, you make it out just fine. With Pavo's help pulling and you climbing at the same time, you don't seem to have too much of a problem.
All right. I'll get down to where the others are and then tell them all, guys, nothing bad happened, but well, maybe not necessarily true. I saw a vision. Spade was there, from the one tomb. Bad with names. I forget the one from the tomb with the snake, but
Ashante.
I saw Ashante, thank you. I saw a vision of them and they were fighting.
Each other?
Were they fighting each other? No, they weren't fighting each other.
You don't know what they were fighting, but they were fighting
Yeah,
something.
that's the thing. I remember, yeah, they were fighting, but I didn't see what they were fighting.
Hmm.
Okay.
Well, that's a little foreboding, but
Yeah, I know. I wish I had more
last
information to
chance
tell you.
if anyone wants to turn back.
Of course not. Let's go.
I might leave
Yeah.
Spike behind. I don't know if there's gonna be a lot. Like, we're going underground, right? I'm afraid of water. I
Well,
don't wanna-
all right.
Whatever
Can
you
you
think is
breathe
best.
underwater a lot?
What's that?
Can you breathe underwater for a long time?
Guess we're about to find out, but I just think I feel like Spike should stay here.
Okay.
Do we know that there's water down there?
No, we don't. I'm just guessing. And
All right.
based on what we had to do to get in. Do you want to leave Fidget here?
Oh, Fidget could stay
can
with
I-
Spike.
That was my thought.
Does
And Fidget
Spike know
Ollie.
not to eat fidget?
I'm gonna tell him now.
Does
This is
does
our
that
role play now.
stop him?
Okay.
Leaving our pets
Um,
behind.
Okay.
I roleplay that every day I go to work, guys.
In the interest of like speeding up the process, I'm gonna give him the little ring so he can go back to the rooms. I'm gonna give him specific instructions not to steal anything while I am not with him and not to eat Fidget, to take care of Fidget.
Okay.
As
And I
you
will
look
trust him with fidget.
As you look down at Spike, he doesn't seem to be paying attention to you, as he seems to have found somewhere another little trinket.
Oh boy.
Spike looks up to you, and you see a small vial in his glass vial in his hand, with a strange liquid inside. Spike looking at you, and then looking back at Lucy, almost inherently knowing that this entire quest is for Lucy. He walks over and hands the vial to Lucy before turning back and walking inside.
With Fidget?
Thank you.
With
little
Fidget.
one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Shall we?
Now that the kids are taken care of.
Left alone at home.
All right.
Looking
Be
at
fine,
the
let's go.
looking at the
Yeah.
potion, looking at the potion, Lucy,
Mhm.
you have never seen anything like this before. It's very beautiful in its own sense. A silvery, shimmering hue, almost like a shimmering silver satin, but in a liquid form.
Mm.
You have received a potion of greater defense.
Mm.
Nice.
Cool.
When you take it, you will receive a +2 to your AC.
That will surely come in handy.
All right.
All right.
With
Let's
that
go.
said,
Let's do this.
all right. You all
Do it.
begin to head down into the blackness below. The climb isn't too far down. Well, until you can actually see where you come out from. As the walls begin to expand, it gets larger and larger and larger. You find yourself in a massive underground hall. The walls have been carved in intricate and beautiful details and patterns. The floor completely polished and shimmers in the light as you walk on it. Throughout the hall, the only things aside from large quartz columns that support a ceiling, field of perfectly placed crystal monoliths that light up the room with a greenish hue to it. Each crystal is perfectly separated from its neighboring crystals by about 15 feet in every direction. They hover silently in the room's air. With
How,
just enough... Sorry?
How
go
well
ahead.
lit is it?
It would be considered dimly lit.
Okay.
As you look throughout this strange underground hall, it's hard to tell just how wide and how far back it goes. However, you do take notice, what seems to be directly in the center. A pyramid-like staircase with a small structure that resides at its apex. The building resembles that of a Roman temple with large cylinder columns holding up peaked arched roofs on all sides. And just beyond the pillars, a massive doorway blocked by a solid slate of marble.
Okay. Continue on, make our way up to it. Yeah.
Okay. As you continue forward, you walk through this field of strange hovering crystals. It's hard to get an orientation as the field just seems to span outward, like a strange wheat field that you can barely oversee. Just columns and rows that you can just see through as you walk by each one of the green crystal monoliths.
Really want to touch one, guys?
I'm really glad I didn't bring Spike.
Let's not touch them. Probably.
Are you
Last time
sure?
we touched the crystal, we had a baby.
Sure, the last time, remember what happened
True
the last
word of
time we
caution.
touched a crystal?
Okay, well, if we decide at some point that someone has to touch a crystal, I would really like to touch one.
All
Okay.
right.
Okay, as you reach out and touch one of the crystals,
No,
Suddenly-
no. I said,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no. They said don't do it, and I'm not doing it. So I said if we need to, I want to be the one to do it.
Yeah,
Fair
first we're
enough.
still making our way up to the marble, I think.
Yeah.
As you approach the pyramid-like staircase, you get within about 10 feet of it when suddenly wisps of green, thick, and golden smoke begin to congregate. The smoke swirls around a single point, growing thicker and thicker. As the smoke picks up speed, it becomes more and more difficult to see through. And as its opacity reaches 100%, it suddenly stops and dissipates in every direction, fading from view entirely. Now in its place, a figure appears. You see a beautiful, bald, tattoo elven woman hovering in the air, seated in a meditated state. Her hands clasped in front of her with her index fingers pointed upward. Her head is slightly bowed with eyes closed. She wears a beautiful green, emerald green robe. The sleeves have been removed, revealing even more tattoos along her arms. The collar is almost as long as her neck, with a wide golden piping around its edge that cuts down towards the chest in a V shape. Suddenly, she speaks out. "Welcome, my descendant. The time has come where a new champion is needed to continue our divine task. However, there is more to being a champion than simply wielding power. To be a champion, one must follow our tenets. To fail can be one's great ultimate defeat or one's greatest triumph. A champion knows to admit their failings and move past them. What one covets is not a measure of one's worth. Be rid of your dependencies to walk the path of the champion. And the will of the warrior is in constant strife with the beast within. A true champion will engage in battle, but accept it. Listen carefully and wisely. Reflect on those tenets. And when you are ready, join me as a fellow champion of mortals." And with that, she dissipates into smoke as quickly as she arrived. A rumbling
Go ahead.
A rumbling begins at the top of the staircase as the marble slat seems to crack in the center and push open.
Well, point of no return, if there ever was one.
We can do this, guys. Right?
Of course.
Nothing bad happened in the other ones, right? So we'll be fine.
Admit your failings. Remove materialistic things.
Mm-hmm.
The true champion will engage in battle, but accept it.
Won't engage.
Oh, won't it? I thought it said.
Did it say won't or will engage in battle? Oh, God.
Alara would remember.
Alara would remember for sure.
The best feat we ever took.
So without the super
Seriously.
cool voice effect,
Mhm.
the tenets were: to fail can be one's ultimate defeat or greatest triumph. A champion knows to admit their failings and move past them. What one covets is not a measure of one's worth. Be rid of your dependencies to walk the path of a champion. And the will of a warrior is in constant strife with the beast within. A true champion will engage in battle, but accept it.
I don't know if that word was won't.
It was Will. He said Will.
Will.
Well, she seemed friendly and she opened the door for us.
We know the routine. We gotta go through.
What do you think we're supposed to? No, never mind. I guess it'll all make sense eventually.
Yeah, let's
Start
go
walking.
in.
Yeah.
I'll
Yep.
go in.
Let's go.
Okay. As you all climb the steps upward, walking through the new archway that leads into the temple. As you enter into the first room, strangely enough, there doesn't seem to be any carvings or any discerning marks on the walls. The only thing within the room is what looks to be a pane of glass shimmering back towards you.
I think this is our first test.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is it?
Who's going
I
first?
imagine-
Just glass.
What's in front of us?
Did-
It's a pane of
see a
glass.
The pane?
Do we
Pane,
see our
It's
like a
reflection
just
in
like
it?
sliver
a piece.
of glass.
A piece of, like a mirror, or is it a
Like
mirror
a panel
or glass?
of glass.
Oh, panel.
Yeah,
Okay.
panel, sure. Whatever Switzerland says for pane.
Figured-
If no one else volunteers, Lucy will step forward.
As you step forward in front, you can peer through to the other side of the pane of glass, but just slightly see your reflection.
And it's following my movement.
It is.
Can you look on the other side, or is it blocking the whole way?
Nope, it's a single pane of glass or panel of glass that seems to be positioned dead center directly in the middle of the room. You can walk all the way around it.
Yeah.
So
I'll
if I
look-
walk
I'm gonna walk
behind it,
around
can
it.
he see me go around through it?
Yes, he can.
Go ahead.
Okay.
And I will look around the other side of it and see if it's still just the same thing both ways.
As you go around to the other side, again, you see a reflection staring back at you.
I'll walk back around to the front, say, admit my failings.
Oh yeah. To
Mhm.
fail
Touch it.
can be defeat or triumph. Champion knows to admit failings to move past.
So I look
Okay.
into the glass and I'm going to say very quietly so that the rest of the party can't hear.
Perception.
Yep.
Yeah, go right ahead.
I'd like to roll perception.
I wasn't strong enough to save Quill. And see if that does anything.
As you bow your head, the reflection doesn't. As it reaches out of the mirror, you see a shimmering, translucent hand that is exactly as your own, reached out, poised, as if inviting you to take its hand.
I'll look back, say once more, admit your failings, and I'll take its hand.
As you take its hand, it pulls you through into the pane of glass. And with that, Lucy vanishes from sight.
Okay. I'll walk in front of the glass then. And I'll say, I wasn't strong enough to save Alcor.
Looking at your reflection, it tilts its head towards you. And even though it's impossible, you feel as if it smiles back towards you. This time, a war-forged hand, transparent once again, reaches out as invitation for Ollie to take it.
I'll take it and move through.
And with that, Ollie vanishes from sight.
Yeah, we'll look around.
You go, Eli. You go first.
Oh, he'll take a deep sigh and then he'll walk up to the mirror and he'll say very, very quietly that I made a mistake that cost my mentor dearly.
The reflection looks back, unsure.
Okay, I legit don't know what to say to this mirror out of game.
Maybe it's not enough.
Out of game,
being
I don't
very
know if you're
vague.
being specific enough.
Mm-hmm. We won't know what you're saying. We have to pretend like we don't know if that's what you're worried about.
But I guess, like, without getting too much into the backstory, that is specific enough. Like, he didn't die.
What did you do, though? What was your failing? What was the thing that you did wrong?
He goofed. He told somebody something that he shouldn't have without knowing.
As the tenets of the champion says, one must fully admit to their failings to move forward.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're making it sound like it's his fault.
No, it was Eli's fault. He gave somebody information.
She was speaking about him in the third person.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was Eli's
That's not all that you
fault.
said. That's not what you said, though. I mean,
Okay, so he'll try again and he'll say, I shared a secret I shouldn't have. But again, this is complicated. Like, I don't know.
Blood doesn't trust the mirror.
No, he does trust the mirror. It's just it's like a nuanced situation.
maybe that's not what it's expecting to
Then
hear.
I
Maybe
don't
it's
know
something
what
else
it
you
wants me
screwed
to
up.
say. Then I don't know what it wants me to say.
Then back
Which
the
is
line,
so
pal.
perfect, Eli.
Take the
Lies
blame.
never failed. All right. Are you backing away?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. I'll give it a shot. So look inside the glass panel. My pride caused Lucy harm.
I said it, and I'm not around to hear it.
I know, none of us heard it.
The Aarakocra that you stares back at you, spreads its wings, and holds its head high with pride. As an ethereal hand reaches out to you, Pavo.
Take the hand.
Man, I'm starting to think this is going to be a real tough time for Shade.
As you... You all
Can't
watch
wait.
as Pavo is led into the pane of glass, vanishing from sight.
Oh boy. Okay, I'll go up. I'll go up to the glass. And I'll sigh. And I mean, failing. I might need a definition because, you know, one man's failing is another man's success. But I guess I stole from someone important. I'm sure some would consider that a failing, although I think it was quite a successful thing that I pulled off.
The image in the mirror doesn't change.
I think that I should probably be a better team member to my party.
Again, it doesn't change.
Oh, gotta
Step
dig
away.
deeper.
Step away.
Gotta find something else to say to her.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, Chris.
Who's going up next?
Okay, I'll go.
Okay.
Alcor spent his life basically covering for me and saving me in many ways over and over again. And in the end, I couldn't return the favor and I failed him.
The image smiles back at you, giving a little curtsy before a hand reaching out, inviting you in. Alara walks into the pane of glass before vanishing from sight. Who's up next? Or you guys can just wait here if you'd like.
I mean, I don't know what it wants me to say because that is what Eli would perceive as the worst thing that he's done.
I know what it is.
What? Okay, what is it? Help me out of game. I don't know.
That's metagaming, man. I can't tell you
I
what
don't
to say.
know.
It's your character.
He didn't really say the worst thing though. It's like, don't you just admit
Something
failing? Like
That's
something
I would
admit-
say admit your worst failing, or like the thing that's
well,
causing
something
you the
strong,
most like.
definitely.
you know?
You can't just be like, I failed to get up on time.
I mean,
and
you're
just
on
slept in.
this grand quest for your character, your whole reason for being,
That's true.
and you're kind of coming up short, buddy.
But he didn't.
Pun
It's not
intended.
his. It's not his fault. His parents are gone. He was a
Sounds like you have the
child.
wrong attitude towards that fucking pane of glass.
He was a kid when they were taken.
I'm not saying that that's the part that's.
Perhaps.
All right, I'm gonna
Actually,
go up.
make an insight check for me, Eli.
Okay. Eight.
You're frustrated with what's happening in front of you. And while you're still trying to put the pieces together, you've noted that everyone's answers were very specific to how they failed and who they failed.
Okay, he'll go up and he'll say, I leaked information that
So sassy.
cost my mentor dearly. Dude, the mentor's name is Granger.
Okay, out of game, and how did that cost him dearly?
He was replaced pretty much as head of that guild.
As you say this in front of the mirror, a small halfling translucent hand reaches out to you,
Okay.
inviting you in. As you pass through the mirror, you hear a voice whisper to you, "You must fully accept the repercussions of your actions and how they affect those around you." The rest of you watch as Eli vanishes from sight.
Okay, I'll go back up to the glass. And I will say, I have failed to provide Gus with an adequate body. Quietly.
The image staring back at you gives a bit of a wink before a hand reaches out from the pane, inviting you in.
Alright. I'll salute my people as I get sucked in.
You mean Shade?
Just Shade.
Oh, just
Yeah.
Shade.
Just Shade
Yeah.
now.
Sorry, I thought it was Pavo too.
No, I'm already in.
Oh, yeah. Just Shade.
Shade, looking around, you now see that the companions that you've been traveling with are all gone. You stand alone.
I'll go and put my hand on the glass, my wooden hand, and I'll say, "This arm killed my parents."
As the image stares back at you, it gives a somber nod before reaching out the non-wooden arm, inviting you in.
I would give my wooden arm to the end and go in, I guess.
You are pulled into the mirror as everyone has now disappeared from view. Shade, as you come through, you see your companions now inspecting another room. A circular room with torches that seem to glow on all sides of the walls. Each of them eyes wide. As 5 items sit on pedestals directly in front of them. It's easy enough to see that each one of these items shimmer with such a golden aura of magic. Sorry guys, hold on one second.
As we look closer at the magical items in front of us, we see.
Going down the line, you can see 5 brilliant items sitting in front of you. The first, Alara, you immediately recognize as the staff that was once being held by your mentor in the statue in the front of Boku. Shade, you take notice of 2 beautiful swords. One completely almost burning red with amber, the other a cool, icy touch to it. Beautiful blues that seem to be a gradient up the shaft of the blade. Trix, you see a pocket pistol, the likes you've never seen before. Beautiful, intricate details of gold and silver with pieces of ivory that shape down the sides of it. And the only other thing, Ollie, you see a strange rod that sits standing upright. You notice a number of sigils carved into it, ones that you're quite familiar with, all dedicated to the magics of healing. One in particular stands out to you, as you recognize it as a sigil of resurrection. And the last is the only that sits on a bit of a mannequin-like pedestal. A black cloak that hangs over top, that shimmers reflectively, as you can only see the interior of the cloak itself, the exterior seeming transparent or invisible.
Guys, are you seeing these? Do you know what that staff is? That's the staff that my mentor was holding. The statue in the middle of Boku. It's probably really powerful.
But didn't it say what you covet
doesn't define your worth?
Yeah.
Grid dependencies.
Yep.
Looks like this one's on you.
This temple's playing mind games.
So I'm supposed to just like walk past this rod of time?
I think so.
Is there a door leading out of this room, by the way, or is it just the pedestals and the items?
You see no doors. Only the
Okay,
pedestals sitting on the items.
So maybe we have to take them.
I don't think that's what we're
It might
meant
not
to
even
do.
be real.
Maybe we just get really close to them just to get a good look.
It actually says rid yourself of dependency, doesn't it?
Maybe we need to destroy them.
No.
Wait,
Well,
hold
maybe
on, no.
destroy them. Yeah, maybe. That could
But
be
those
it.
aren't our dependencies, at least not yet. I mean, that little wand there can do a lot for me, but it doesn't. It's not something I have, so it's not something I would get rid of.
Well, what does the did the actual part about dependency say? Did it say rid yourself of dependencies or rid yourself of dependency? Dependency. Which one did it say? Alara.
Laura.
DM.
As Alara searches into her mind palace, she recites the words almost perfectly. What one covets is not a measure of one's worth. Be rid of your dependencies to walk the path of the champion.
So maybe I need to put my old staff down because I need that to cast spells so I can take the new one.
I don't think that is what we're seeing here.
Sounds good to me.
I think we
But
need to
you
get
may
rid of
need
everything.
to get rid of the old one.
Do we need to like walk in naked? Like what's happening?
Or gear that you rely on to protect you.
I think I understand. I would like to take my weapon and try to smash the wand.
Oh, okay.
Good test, as long as it's not the staff.
As
Yeah,
Ollie
Lord
walks
Ring.
over, as Ollie walks over to the rod, he raises his mighty hammer to the sky, the head of the hammer still glowing in a blazing amber, like it had just freshly come out of a furnace. He winds up and smashes down on top of the rod. As it makes contact, the rod simply shatters like tiny little crystals that blast over the sides of the pedestal.
Feel any different, Ollie?
Not really, but
It's just
I'd like
one.
to grab my my onk or whatever and just be like, Gipple, please tell me I made the right choice.
Yeah, hopefully you didn't trap us in this room.
As you close your eyes and hold on to your holy symbol, a warm and comforting glow begins to seep through it.
Ah, crap.
Yeah. I'll walk over to the cloak and start tearing at it with my daggers.
With heavy heart, knowing what kind of sneakery you could do
Yeah.
with an item of this nature, you
She's
slash.
crying.
You slash at the cloak, tearing it to tiny little pieces as they flutter in the air, almost like little bits of paper that seem to hover for a moment before falling to the ground. It takes you but a few moments before the cloak is no longer.
He'll sigh.
For you,
Guys,
Eli.
I really don't think I think this is teaching us a valuable lesson. We're stronger together. We don't need these items to succeed. We have each other, and if we have each other, then we can accomplish anything.
What is next to be
Alright.
destroyed?
How am I supposed to destroy this staff? What should I do?
Wait, I'll
Cast a
show you.
spell at it? I think I need to destroy it. I know you want to destroy everything in your path, Shade, but I think the point is I need to destroy it.
No, I'm thinking the
can't-
same about this pistol. I mean,
I'll just try
it looks
casting.
so strong.
Time it down.
I'll just try casting Firebolt at it, and I'll barely be looking.
She looks away.
As you cast towards the staff, it immediately lights like that of a gas-soaked wick of a candle. It bursts into flames, high and bright enough that it's hard for you to ignore. You feel the heat emanating from it. And as the fire begins to die down, all that's left in its place is a small pile of ashes that wisp away into the wind.
All right, next.
She's so sad.
Why would you do that, Alara? That could
Eli
have
will
been
pat
very useful.
her. He'll pat her on the shoulder.
That could have been
Thanks,
taken out of
Eli.
there.
I've never tried to slice swords before, but I guess I can try. I take my 2 swords from my back and hit the 2 in front of me.
Shade, as you begin to smash down on the swords, each breaking almost like brittle peanut butter as they snap into tiny little pieces. Jagged little edges seem to appear directly where the swords were, almost as if you had just shattered a mirror itself. The tiny pile of jagged metal now lay in front of you.
Well, that was poor craftsmanship.
Break them pretty easily. Maybe they're not real.
Yeah, that's bringing me some comfort, Bravo. That I don't think that they were real to begin with.
That
The
being said,
idea
I'll
was
just
real.
go up to the pistol and stab it with my dagger.
As you stab through the edge, it seems to begin to dent the pistol. You continually stab at it, each time creating more and more little points of entry behind it until it's nothing left than a scrap of Swiss cheesed metal. As the last weapon is destroyed, on the opposite side of the room, a doorway seems to appear directly around the bend.
Very good.
Make our
Alright.
way to it.
Oh, well, that was easy for you, Pavo.
Yes, that was quite painless for me. Thank you.
I silk through the door.
Walking through the doorway, you find yourself in almost an arena-like setting. The ground below you completely made of loose sand. Directly across from you, each of you see a statue of yourself. The stone appears to be of black around every area where the cloth resides. The arms and skin and face of a brilliant white. As you fully enter into the room, the doorway behind you closes,
Uh-oh.
and the eyes of each one of the statues flickers open.
Ew.
But that, my friends,
Oh, come on.
No.
Oh.
Come on.
Another
Oh.
Guess the statues saw that coming.
So to those of you who have stuck around to the very end, as always, we thank you immensely. If you're not already following, consider following. And hey, if you're watching on YouTube, consider subscribing as well. quickly, just want to say a quick thank you to all of the wonderful individuals who provided the donations and subs and bits and the raids and all of those wonderful things. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and really, I don't know how else I can show our appreciation to you. You've done more than we could ever have hoped for, and thank you for it. How's everyone feeling after that session?
Man,
I really wanted a cloak of invisibility, man.
that's some intense ass shit, man.
Almost thinking.
Ugh. Man, so many questions answered and so many more questions raised at this
I
point.
know, right? So true.
Gosh, Shade killed his parents or walking around with a sociopath.
We don't know this, though. He
I
went
mean,
last.
Arm.
We don't know.
You don't
That's
know
what's
that.
happening.
I don't know. I feel bad for him. Maybe that's why he's so shady.
Yeah, but he said the arm killed the parents. It wasn't him.
Well,
Again, none of us know.
Who knows what that means,
I-
but
yeah.
I'm still sketched out.
I think it was him.
What is an echo?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, man. What an episode.
Eli's
Well, my
like, "That
friends.
fail?" Just kidding.
No,
Yeah,
it was just.
I don't understand what I could possibly
That's
say.
not what I meant.
That would be a fail.
That's not what I. He's very aware that he screwed up in that situation. He's very
It's somebody
aware.
else's fault.
No, he knows that he screwed up.
No self-accountability.
Well, with that said, my friends, again, thank you for joining us. We will be back here next week. Same trip time, same trip channel. But until that time, adventurers, I beg of you, one word of caution. To all those who protect the lands, to all those who inspire to be champions themselves, be careful out there. You can trip. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I love you the most.